I'm with a joke, got that pack, going for the low. Sell a P, sell it O, sell it for the low. If she talk, I'm in love, I'ma let it go. Let it go, on your block, we gon' do a show. Let it go, on your block, I'ma do it.
Hey, Rolex here. Spooky, scary Sundays. Yes. Basically every Sunday, I'm gonna watch some scary videos. Totally inspired by my favorite YouTuber, Cory. So, grab your snacks. I see you hot Cheetos, Takis, whatever. And sit down and enjoy the video. I mean, we're in quarantine right now, so nothing else to do. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Hey, howdy partner, come on out.
Okay, I see you. Give or take. So 10 minutes are good. Don't feel it. This man is oh, why you look like that? Like you on crack. I want no deals with this man.
Hey, I'm Sapphire. Wanna hear something scary? I'm a 911 operator. The following story comes from the No Sleep subreddit, written by username Higgs Thunder. 911, what is your emergency?
Yeah, hi. This is gonna sound kind of strange, but
There's a man stumbling around in circles in my front yard. Could you repeat that, sir?
he looks sick or lost or drunk or something.
I just woke up to get a glass of water and heard snow crunching around underneath my front window, so I peeked out. I'm looking at him now. He's about 10 yards away from my window.
Something's not right.
What is your address, sir?
1617 Quarry Lane in Pinella Pass.
I'm gonna send a squad car your way, but that's quite a ways out. Are you alone in your house, sir? Yes, I'm alone. Can you confirm that all of your doors and windows are locked? Stay on the phone with me. I know that my front is definitely locked, but I'll go check my back door again really quick.
I appreciate your help, by the way. I know this is kind of strange, but I really hope that...
Sir, are you still there?
He's still in the yard. But what the hell? He's upside down.
Sir, stay on with me. What is happening? He's staring right at me. But he's standing on his hands now. He's perfectly still, staring straight at me. He's doing a handstand and he's smiling at me and not moving. He's doing a handstand, sir? I don't know how he's facing me and standing on his hands and he's got this huge smile and he's perfectly still. What the fuck? Please.
Get someone out here now.
Sir, I need you to remain calm. I've put out the call and an officer is on his way.
His teeth are so huge. Oh my god, please help me.
Sir, I want you to try and keep an eye on him, but make sure your back door is locked again. We need to make sure all possible access points are secured. Can you talk me through and confirm that your back door is locked? Okay. I'm walking backwards now, and I'm keeping him in my sight.
My hand is on the back doorknob now. Okay, it's locked.
I need to check the deadbolt, so I'm gonna take my eyes off him for a split second. All right, sir. Help is on the way. Just stay on the phone with me. Everything's going to be all right.
Okay.
Sir?
Good.
Sir, are you still there?
No.
Sir, I need you to speak up. What is happening?
No.
I looked away for a split second and now his face is pressed up against my front window. His teeth are huge. He's still smiling. There's no color in his eyes. Jesus, please help me. Why won't it just fucking move? Sir, I need you to go to the nearest room and lock yourself inside of it. Do you have a basement or a bedroom that you can lock yourself in? He won't stop staring. I think he's gonna hurt me. Sir, I need you to listen to me. Lock yourself somewhere safe until the officer arrives at your house. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna lock myself in my room.
And you're positive that you're alone in your house, correct? Yes, I'm alone in the house. Wait a moment.
He's moving. He's shaking his head.
He's telling me no? Oh God, I think he can hear us. He's telling me I'm not alone. Sir, are you still there? Can you still hear me? What was that sound? Is everything okay? Sir?
Did you know that fashion is the second most polluting industry?
Bro.
It's pretty scary, right? That's actually one of
I
the
can't do
reasons
this.
I love to shop.
A new roommate is always a daunting task. Even though you interview and take the time to get to know that person, you don't truly find out who they are until you start living with them. I had begun searching for a roommate after I decided to leave my current residency. I was contacted a couple of hours after placing an ad on the Facebook Marketplace. The message read,
Hey Chris, I'll be moving out of my current apartment this August and I'm looking to room with someone new, as my roommates are moving to California this year. I'm 27 and I'm currently going to school. When I'm not at school, I enjoy hiking and watching movies. I also apprentice at a taxidermy
Hiking?
shop
Who
on the
does
days I
hiking?
don't have class. Hope that's not weird. It's always been a fun hobby of mine. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Have a great day, Lunaire.
My first and most obvious reaction after reading the message was to check her profile. She was of medium height, had long, messy blonde hair and green eyes. In her profile picture, I saw her standing with a man and a woman shoulder to shoulder. They each adorned goofy grins and held up peace signs. Under the photo, the caption read, "Love my roommates." I smiled to myself and decided to send her a message back. The sun beat down on us as we hoisted various objects to the second floor of our new apartment. It took us a couple days to get everything out of the moving trucks and into our new place, but as soon as we did, a wave of relief washed over our sweat-drenched and sore bodies. After a couple more hours of rearranging, we each grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat on the porch. We reminisced about old 90s cartoons and what video games we obsessed over as kids. And as the sun started to set, I truly felt relaxed and confident that things were going to work out. A week later, I started a new job for a construction company that was owned by a good friend of mine.
I can't be too loud.
As I was getting ready, I heard the front door swing open. I walked into the living room to see Lunaire and her friend David sliding in a large box. "What you got there?" I asked. Through a strained grunt, she replied,
I bought a freezer to store some of the animals I'm planning on using in my taxidermy work. I hope that's alright.
I was obviously
She
hesitant
weird.
at first,
She gotta
as there was
go.
no mention of this
If you
happening
ain't
in the
hit
first
already,
place,
bruh,
but I
it's your fault.
eventually accepted and returned to my room to continue getting ready for work.
No matter how cute
I
she
came
is, bro, you
home at
gotta let
around
it go.
9 p.m. after having a couple of beers with friends and noticed that the freezer was nestled snugly in the lower part of the pantry. A low hum could be heard reverberating off of the inner walls. I was curious to see what was inside, but didn't want to intrude on Lunaire's business, so I went into my room and changed into more comfortable clothing. After changing, I came back out into the kitchen and started making a sandwich. I opened the fridge and grabbed what I needed. As I turned around, I
Boy,
stubbed my
fridge
toe
with
on the
it.
edge of the
Ain't
island
got
countertop
nothing in
and
it.
let out a long, exasperated grunt. Through my frustration, I slammed the fridge door shut and checked my toe to see if there was any bleeding. As I raised my head back up, I was greeted by a shadowy figure. Lunaire was standing in the doorway leading to her room. The darkness behind her almost seemed to envelop her.
Is everything okay?
She said in a deadpan tone. "Shit, yeah, I'm sorry. I just slammed my toe into the corner of the countertop as I was making a sandwich. I hope I didn't wake you,"
It's fine.
she said, in the same deflated tone as before. She then turned around and walked back into the darkness of her room.
She weird, bro.
I could tell that she was pissed, so I quietly made my sandwich and retreated back to my room as well, only hearing the low hum from the freezer as I closed my door. I had the next day off, so I was able to sleep in a little longer than usual. When I finally emerged from my room, I walked into the kitchen to make breakfast. As I opened the refrigerator, I noticed that the light wasn't turning on and there was a lack of cold air escaping from inside. I turned around and flipped the light switch to confirm my suspicion. Sure enough, the power was out. Damn it, I muttered under my breath. I walked over to Lunaire's room and knocked on her door to tell her about the power outage if she didn't already know, but there was no answer.
Alright, coming from there.
I then remembered that she had classes that day and probably wasn't home. I walked back to the kitchen and past the pantry. As I did, I slipped on the floor but was able to catch myself on the countertop. What the? I angrily exclaimed as I looked down at the floor trying to figure out what I had slipped on. It was blood, and it started to leak from the corner of the freezer and pool onto the floor. I quickly tried to open the freezer to find out the cause of the viscous liquid, but then I noticed that it had a padlock attached to it. I don't remember seeing that before.
She hiding bodies
I ran out to my
in
car
there.
and grabbed my toolbox from the back seat. I approached the freezer and set my tools down on the nearby countertop. I then pulled out a small pair of bolt cutters and snapped through the metal of the padlock. It fell to the ground with a large thud. I creaked open the top of the freezer and was greeted with a putrid stench that permeated my nostrils. I quickly pinched my nose and walked away gagging in response. I guess I should have realized that was gonna happen, I muttered to myself in between gags. After gaining my composure, I grabbed some gloves from under the sink and started taking inventory. I could see a couple of dead birds and plastic bags wedged into the corners of the freezer. I took each bag out and set them in the trash can nearby. That's when I noticed that the blood was coming from the corner of the larger black bag. I don't know why, but I decided to open the top of the bag and peer inside. I was greeted by large, milky white eyes, a swollen black tongue surrounded by cracked and bloated lips, and the matted hair of a human head. I swiftly dropped the bag and fell backwards onto the floor. My breathing had ceased to exist, and I grabbed the trash can next to me and expelled my disgust into it. I then ran out the door, got into my car, and called the police. As I sat in the interrogation room with a blanket over my shoulders, I couldn't help but think about the face I'd seen. It looked so familiar. That's when it finally hit me. I pulled out my phone and looked at Lunaire's profile picture. It was her old roommate, the one she said was moving to California. When the detective entered the room, she started the questioning process, asking me if I started noticing any weird behavioral occurrences around the apartment. Yeah, I stubbed my toe the other day and she creepily stood in the doorway. It seemed like she was pissed, but for some reason I had a strange feeling like she was concerned about something. That's when I connected the dots. She didn't come out into the kitchen because she heard me stub my toe. She came out into the kitchen because she thought I slammed the freezer instead of the fridge. A cold sweat started to form on my forehead as my surroundings became blurred. I could hear a low whine slowly starting to cover up the words of concern from the detective. As my vision started to clear, I could see another officer enter the room and whisper something into her ear as he handed her a piece of paper. "Do you have somewhere you could stay at?" she asked. I mean, I was planning on staying with my parents. They live about 30 minutes outside of town. Okay, she paused. Listen, I don't want to worry you, but we found this picture inside of your apartment.
Oh, Lord.
She slid the piece of paper across the table, and I immediately felt like someone kicked me in the chest. The head of Lunaire's other roommate sat on the chair. In the background, scrawled on the wall in blood, read, "Love my roommates. All of them."
stranger.
Butt talks out.
It's been a while.
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy!
I've missed you. It's okay. You can look at my butt. I feel like I can really be vulnerable around you. Do you like this tree I made? Cool, right?
He giving me James Charles vibes.
It's so hard to make things sometimes, you know? It just takes so much mental
I
energy.
can't take you serious with your
And I
butt
get so
just sitting
tired.
there looking juicy as a
I
plum.
just want to sit here and relax with you. Wow.
Why is he in
Check out the
dark?
sunset. It's so nice to stop and take all this in.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
Really makes you enjoy being alive.
Fully.
Even you. I love looking at you.
You have to look at me, I'm good.
I want to remember all your shapes.
What you mean? I don't like you like that, sir. What are you drawing? You drawing a picture of me? No way. Couldn't do that. Couldn't do that.
Beautiful.
You just
I've
folded
been thinking
my
about you a
shirts.
lot lately. I see you trying to do so many things at once. Worrying about a decision you made, or worried that you said the wrong thing to someone.
Yeah.
You're so
How do you
hard
know?
on yourself. But you're wonderful. And worthy of being loved. You really are. You just have to let yourself believe it. Well, I know you're really busy and you probably have to go. But I'm glad I got to see you for a minute. I love you.
I don't remember that being in Simpson.